So you do so much. You have a podcast, you also do your regular 9 to 5 and AI entrepreneurship that you're doing. So when somebody asks you, Zach, what do you do? What do you usually say?
ChatGPT is great to get started in, and I think people should at least spend an hour if they have never used it daily. Learn how to use these tools because it's going to be needed. Whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Perplexity, Claude, the list goes on. There's this phrase in marketing, they call it KISS. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. Because if you keep it simple, it opens the doors to so many things, doesn't it? A friend of mine taught me the box breathing method. So when you feel anxious, you count to 4, hold it, count, release. You go back and forth, and it's helped me in situations I would have never known. Mom was a seamstress, dad's a waiter. How are they able to do that for my sister and I? I can't imagine. And hats off to you and your husband and so many others that come here from a different country and call this place home. Learn the culture, adapt to the values of Canadian culture, and then also to create a podcast like this to give back.
Hello, and welcome back to the Neha Jog podcast. Our guest today, Zach, is an AI entrepreneur who loves talking about how technology is shaping our daily, everyday lives. He's curious, down to earth, and always asking the right questions. As a host of Canadian podcasts, Zach keeps things real, sharing honest stories, big ideas, and what it really means to live in a world driven by AI. So without any further ado, let's dive right into the conversation with Zach. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, as it really helps and motivates me to bring such amazing content your way. Hello, Zach. Welcome to today's episode.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you for having me.
So you do so much. You have a podcast, you also do your regular 9 to 5 and AI entrepreneurship that you're doing. So when somebody asks you, Zach, what do you do? What do you usually say?
I think it goes back to kind of purpose, right? What are we fueling ourselves with? What do we enjoy doing? Entrepreneurship is something that's just in my blood. I love it. And podcasting, it's storytelling. It's learning from others, real life people, real humans, right? And I think you know that too. It's like when you meet someone, it feels so good, doesn't it, to enjoy that conversation with them?
Definitely.
And you learn so much that you wouldn't read or learn from reading in a book or watching a YouTube video. You have to interact. You have to put yourself out there. So I think for myself, it's more engaging with humans and just saying I'm a person of purpose, I'll call it.
Yeah. Right. And have you always been in Calgary?
I have. I was born in East Africa, but came here at 4 months old. So I always say I'm Calgarian. I'm Albertan. And, Calgary's been home. And it's been a great place to live. Yeah.
Did you ever think of moving somewhere?
I did.
Trying? Okay, where did you go?
Tofino. It's in BC, British Columbia.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite places to go visit. I used to go there as a child every summer.
Okay.
So going out there is a home away from home. It's just memories,
That's nice.
There's some places that just
nostalgia.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's places for you where no matter what you go, it's like you'll always remember a good vibe there, a good time.
Yeah. I have so many of those because especially as an immigrant, you always think about back home.
Yeah. What's one place that you miss being?
My native place, like where I actually am from. Like my parents migrated to Mumbai, but originally we used to live in a small town of India, like Jalgaon.
Okay.
And then as a child, like all my summer vacations, Diwali vacations, we used to go and stay there for like months. So I have fond memories of those at my native village.
It's so funny because it wouldn't be Mumbai. It would be the place that just the fond memories where the love was, there was laughter, family.
Yeah. But now when I came here, now even Mumbai has become that place, the fond memories. And so it's just like life goes on.
Absolutely. Have you started making fond memories here?
Definitely, especially after my son when he was born. So that made a huge difference.
Of course. Now Canada's the roots.
Home. Now this has become home. Yeah. It's almost been a decade now. So.
Yes, 2015.
Yeah. So how did you get into AI? Like, were you always interested into AI?
Well, I was interested in technology and media and marketing and, just being a creative person in that realm of things. But I think from the AI perspective, uh, I realized that there's going to be a gap here for the next generation, especially a bridge where how are we going to help people learn how to use AI? Because you can say, hey, use AI. And you're like, where do I start? There's a lot, right? And then you can look at the technical side of AI and you can look at a billion tools and agents. Well, how do you know which one will work for you? So I wanted to break down AI for the everyday person so they understand how to use it in a practical manner.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, like bringing them out of ChatGPT. Like
Yeah,
there's so much
absolutely. Well,
more to
yes,
AI.
there's a lot more to ChatGPT is great to get started in, and I think people should at least spend an hour if they have never used it daily. Learn how to use these tools because it's going to be needed. Whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Perplexity, Claude, the list goes on. Gemini, right?
Definitely.
So it's like, how do you pick one? Just find one of them and just start playing around, asking it questions, and now take it inch by inch further. Because the next generation is going to need to know how to use it. And now we're going to start needing it.
Yeah.
We looked at Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. We had to learn those tools, didn't we?
Yeah.
So this is just a tool that we need to now start implementing into our lives.
Right. But like this as a hobby, how did you think of taking it a step further and making this like an startup or entrepreneurship?
So the startup's actually called Orka AI.
Orca
Orca,
AI.
because I love killer whales. I love whales and I love killer whales, orca whales. And for me, it's orcas, they travel in pods. You need groups of us to all move forward and do things. And they're the apex predator of the sea. People think great white sharks are, but it's actually the orca whales. And for me, we all need each other and we all need to move forward. Canada as a whole is implementing AI in certain ways, but not like the rest of the world. I mean, you look at China, you look at India, you look at Russia, even the United States, they're moving forward. Canada is still a little hesitant and like, well, wait, but I'm trying to really open the doors and say, we have to learn it because we will fall behind if we don't.
Right.
And it's been neat though to see how from idea to startup, which I still call it a startup in many ways, but Orka AI also does different projects within it. So we try to find technology and then use it for humanity, use it for good, use it for community. So one of the projects is actually called Folkly AI right now, and it's just like a temporary project right now. The name is temporary. But basically in Alberta, we have these things called grain elevators. When you're in the prairies, there are these old wooden barns that they have next to them. And all these things of Alberta history is going to go away soon. So how do we preserve it? Well, we use AI. So now the goal with Orca AI is to be the mothership of these silo projects to say, hey, let's help museums tell stories of the past. And then people can submit, like farmers or ranchers or people that have lived in certain rural communities of Alberta can take these stories, submit them, and now AI voiceovers can talk and share that for the kids of the next generation.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
We really need.
Yeah, definitely.
Or you can hover over with your phone and you'll see it. Like, you remember Pokemon Go?
Right. Yeah. The game.
So now you'll see where that building once was. And the people can hear about the stories. It'll be really neat.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds.
And then there's films. That's going to be a big thing. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about how AI is going to be in film, but it's already been around.
Yeah.
Right? There's CGI, and then there's also AI that has been. I mean, I don't think you should completely remove everybody, but it's great for content creation. It's great for a one-person project.
Yeah.
Right. So I've definitely been playing around with that stuff, and hopefully create Canada's first AI film festival, international film festival. We don't have that yet, so that's a goal.
So many cool stuff. But what does how do you exactly help people? Like, do you educate people, or do you educate businesses, or do you implement it for them?
Yeah. So there's a strategy and consulting side.
Okay.
And I'll help the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the implementation side. So I have a team that I'll work with and we'll say, hey, a business needs an X amount of AI agents to help them achieve something, reduce their costs, help somebody connect to their Gmail, and the Gmail will auto draft everything ready.
Right.
Well, that person doesn't know how to do it. So let's get that set up for them. So that's something we can do in terms of implementation. But then also building custom AI agents for businesses. So an HR company would look at us and say, hey, can you build an AI agent or a system, like an ecosystem that you can now have this agent talk to another agent, and I just show up and it says, good morning, Neha. This is what we've been able to do while you're sleeping all day or like sleeping. And this is what we're able to do. So I think there's going to be a gap here that's going to needed to be filled. And I think that's where we're going to continue there. Yeah.
Right. So basically, any business, small or any size business that come to you, hey, this is what we need. Will you be able to help us? You are, how about individuals?
Absolutely. Yes. We work with individuals. For the individual side, we have more, so someone could go to aiworkshops.ca and then we will have, we actually have one coming up that's virtual. So it can be anyone in Canada or anywhere actually. And it's going to be a free one for this first one. And it's, the fundamentals of AI. How do you get started? Because people don't know where to start, and there's so much noise about these letters, two letters that are like AI. But what is AI? Where do I start? Right. So you can do courses, but I thought people might need to see it at their level of understanding and maybe see a familiar face that they can get to know and be familiar with.
Right. So if I say that you're trying to make AI easier to understand for people and get them help with AI to whatever they need.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's connecting the dots between technology and humans. How do we bridge it so that people can feel like they're able to be a part of this time and this era?
Right. And sometimes even keep up. So the word AI has been all around, but you don't know how to use it. Like sometimes you'll only be drafting emails with AI. Yeah. What else do you do? And people use it for fun these days. You're on social media and creating images of themselves, like being a superhero or whatever.
A figurine
or figurine. Yes. So how to go beyond that and actually
use it for whatever you want to do. Nonprofits can use it. Businesses can use it for idea generation projects. I still think we need humans. So I always say it's like human in the loop. It's the human must be a part of the process at all times. Yeah. Because I think that's where there's this thing called hallucination, where the AI just starts making up words or continues on, and you're thinking, what are you talking about now?
Right.
This has nothing to do with what we want to do. So you need a human to fine tune, constantly prompt. So it's the critical thinking that I don't think we should ever try to lose in this process.
Right, true. Which is like what we need to keep in mind all the time.
Well, it's so easy to just put everything in ChatGPT now and just say, find me stuff to talk about, right?
Right. Before starting this as a startup, did you do any market analysis or
I did, yeah. So I looked through various companies. Obviously, there's incredible companies out there like IBM and, Oracle, big companies, Google, of course, but they're at a level that they're not reaching the everyday person. And I think the everyday person should and can be equipped with AI in their back pocket. We should all be progressing forward, not just a few. So I think if people are willing and open to it, because the AI is scary for many reasons, right? And we hear about it all the time. But if we can find ways to use it for good and to help move humanity forward, your business forward, whatever you want to do, I think there's an opportunity there. So when I looked at the market, there was a lack of the individuals that are like myself that are looking at it from just a strategy consulting side and implementation side, with both hand in hand that are working together, because I think you need both. Because if one is just a strategist and a consultant, you're not going to be able to put it into perspective, because you could say, yeah, for sure, we'll get it done. But can you actually do it, right? And there's a gap there. It's a lot of work on the back end of things, right? To make them talk and orchestrate the AIs.
Right.
I always say there's going to be like, I don't know, by 2027, even millions and millions of AI agents. And the AI agents are actually, how are they going to all talk together? So you might have one that's doing a certain task. Hi, good morning, Neha. I know you have this many podcasts today. This is the outline of the individual, and break it down into a level of understanding that you'd like. And then, Neha, this is the end of the podcast. This is maybe something that you might want to ask that individual. Right. So it'll communicate those kind of things with you. But how do you connect those agents to talk with one another? And you need an ecosystem. And, we've kind of been working on an ecosystem right now, like a vending machine. So you know how you have the Amazon Prime? Yeah. And in there's shows like Hey You or Paramount. So those are agents. And then within that, they need to have shows. Mm-hmm. And what are those agent tasks doing? Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. We're early, I think. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Definitely. And I think people that keep saying no to AI, I highly recommend just give it a shot. Right? It's right. Just to even know, because I think it's going to be needed. And the people that don't use AI, and I think we've heard this before, you will fall behind. And I do agree. Yeah.
As with all other technologies,
absolutely,
right? Like you have to accept it or else you're going to fall back.
I'm not going to use Zoom. I'm going to only use Skype. Well, where's Skype today? Yeah. No more, right?
Yeah. Right. But I want to make it even more simpler for people to understand. So let's say I'm an individual. I do podcasting. I have my 9 to 5. I'm a mother. I do my household chores. I use AI only for a certain, like my work. Let's say I'm only using it for podcasting. What do you mean when you say like you have different AI agents? So how or else just let me know how am I going to use it?
So say, for example, you're going to have me on as a guest. Mm-hmm. You'll ask one of your AI agents to say, I'm going to have Zach on. He does Mentel. He's into AI. He does podcasting. Can you come up with a list of questions? Great. So that's one way. The second one would be, so Zach's coming on. Can you give me a few thumbnail ideas? What would be the best that will captivate an audience based on what he's doing and talking about AI or whatever he's doing? That's another agent. The third might be an agent that reaches out to me after I leave and says, thank you so much, Zach, for coming. It was a great time. A fourth one, once the episode's released, hi, Zach, this episode's been released. I just want to let you know that it's out while you're already onto your next task. So you're buying back your time. And I think that's in a time where we're so fast paced. Everything is so fast. I mean, social media, it's a scroll economy. Mm-hmm. How do we slow it down for ourselves just to catch up to life, right? Because you have a child, you have a husband, you have family life. You want to do life, you have work to do, and then you have dreams and goals, right? So how do we keep up with everything?
Right.
And still produce content? And I think that's where AI can help. It can help with keywords. It can help with, obviously, people know episode descriptions, podcast titles. And I think it's going to be neat to see how that evolves. But you can have different agents take care of each other. However, how are these agents connected so it all works streamlined in one loop, right? And I think that's where we come in to say is you need a bunch of... you need an AI orchestration, like an ecosystem to help. Right. Yeah.
But how have you seen people accepting? How has the acceptance been so far? Do you think people are open?
Yeah.
Or no?
So a few years ago, when I started playing around with AI and AI tools and the large language models of sorts, people felt hesitant. They're nervous. Some say it's dangerous. It's going to take away critical thinking. It's going to ruin everything. It's going to take away jobs, all the stuff we hear. But just like anything, it's a tool. We look at the yellow pages. Google. You can Google things now. And now people are saying, ask ChatGPT or ask Gemini. It has to evolve. And over time now I'm seeing people say, you know what? Have you ever tried ChatGPT, Zach? It's the same people that were saying, oh, it's not a good thing. I'm never going to touch AI. So you're starting to see the layers peel back. You just have to try it. And then you might say, this could actually help me. Because, for example, we can take a picture of this water right now and say, can you make it into a cool piece of content and talk about why water is important on a daily basis? AI can do that without me having to now take it into Canva and find a glass, but we can use this exact glass. So it's really neat to play around with tools like that. People are open. We used to have a horse and buggy, and now we have an automobile, right? So progress. And I think every single time something's new, people are scared. They're resistant. They hold back. Nope, that's not for me. But I think you open up and you become okay with things, right, over time. But you need to see a few people doing it first.
Yeah.
They're like, well, now I can try that. And yeah, it's going to be okay. I don't want to be the first. That's what a lot of people hesitate with. And I'm okay with being the first at a lot of things. It's okay. I mean, it's just the way I am. And if there's lashback or I get, not so good looks on that, it's okay. And I think you get that skin, right? And that's entrepreneurship. It's like you got to take the hits. And just like you started this podcast, it's nerve-wracking at first. Do I know what I'm going to do? Why am I doing this? All these things. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's fun. There's reward to it. You connect with people and you build community. And I love what you're doing.
Right. Going back to the market analysis, when you were doing all this, also, obviously, with market analysis, did you also have to face your own imposter in you? Like, maybe not. You kind of answered that you were okay to be first everywhere, but still, how did you overcome your own blockages if there were any?
No, there definitely were. And sometimes there still are. I mean, I think we're all humans and we all have that, right? That voice in our mind that tells us, you sure you know what you're doing?
But most of the times you feel like you're the only one. How are other people doing it? So when you share stories, it kind of feels like good at certain level. Okay, he goes through this as well. So when I go through this, it's normal.
Exactly.
If Zach can do this, I can do
Absolutely.
this too, sort of.
Because we're only human, and I think that whole imposter syndrome, it's scary. It starts ringing a bell, and sometimes there's this thing called paralysis by analysis. So you get numb, and you're just like, yeah, I'll get to it. But you'll find other things to do. You'll go do the dishes. You'll start vacuuming, even though you just did it already. But you're trying to buy time, and I think realizing that, you know what, everyone that's come before you has made that mistake, and that person that we're looking at that is doing something incredible also started somewhere. They also had somewhere of an imposter syndrome. They're humans, right? We're not perfect. And if you don't ask, it'll always be a no. If you don't try, you're just going to be empty with yourself. I was visiting my mom at the gravesite and just standing there looking around at all these tombstones and stuff. And you think, imagine how many ideas were here. Imagine all the things that never got achieved that were at a gravesite. Hey, I had this idea. I could have done this. And you always hear stories like, I had that idea first, but then why didn't you do it? Right? Or I could have done that, then why didn't you? And then there's when you're 80 years old, if we make it that far, right, as life, and you think about resentment and becoming bitter and upset, we're like, oh, I should have done that. I should have done that. If you're healthy, if you're feeling okay today, I think take the leap. What's the worst that could happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Even like for me, before starting so many things that I do, I had to give myself a pep talk,
You have to.
like, what if you fail? That's fine. You're just going to learn. Even if I fail, even if I do a couple of podcasts and then I find out like it's not working or people are not interested, I don't have guests, that's fine. At least I learned something. I would know how to do editing, what goes into a podcast. Like when I watch other podcasts, I would know what exactly has gone behind that. So it would be a lesson learned. It's not like all waste.
Oh,
so
absolutely. And then you can take those skill sets and do something with it.
Exactly.
There's always going to be there's always editors needed right now.
Yeah.
It's you know that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not an easy task.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. And obviously with AI now you can do editing, but again, you still need that human touch. It doesn't do it
No,
just yet.
no,
Yeah.
not yet.
No.
But can you share any particular example or something like what you were thinking and how you crossed that bridge?
Is AI related?
AI related, starting a startup, because
Sure.
even startup sounds like a huge buzzword, like I'm going to start a business or entrepreneurship. How am I going to do this?
Well, I've done a few startups before, so entrepreneurship's always been in my blood. But starting Orka AI and the projects we have underneath that, you look at the companies around the world and you say, "Gosh, how can I compete? Why would someone want to listen to what we're doing?" There are so many people that are doing better. They're branded better. They're out there, and who's going to listen to me? And then you hear, you have to have a circle that believes in you, because if you don't, you'll hear voices that will say, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Like, someone can just buy a Google course. Why do they need you?" Well, how are they going to implement the Google course after? What are they going to do? How are they going to create a roadmap for their company? How are they going to integrate AI into their company? How are they going to train their employees? It all takes time. It takes a team. It takes different people to understand, navigate. And if someone knows business, someone knows entrepreneurship, they understand that layer. Because you can learn AI and know AI. But if you don't know business and startup, you can't really put the two together. You need that empty canvas, and you need to try and give yourself grace. Because I don't think we do that enough as entrepreneurs, is take a moment to breathe and know it's going to be okay. Because I was starting a pilot project within Orka AI, and we were saying, how can we build, it sounds bizarre, but a recruitment firm. So headhunter for AI agents for businesses. So you know how they would hire employees? How are we going to hire digital employees? So we'll find the perfect AI agents for this company, and then it'll be like a resume.
Right.
It's weird. It's different thinking. But I was nervous to get attacked, to think you're taking away jobs, to think you're doing all these things, right? And it's, I think when you realize it will be okay, because you're not the only one that's going to do this. You're not going to be the only one. Yes, you might be the first to think this way, but it's okay. Same with the AI Film Festival. Editors can use AI to help enhance our movie scene in Canada. There's a lot of talent here, and a lot of folks are on their computers. Let's use them to better, work with humans and create pretty awesome things.
Totally. But if a small business is watching this, and sometimes they don't even know that they need AI, because it's a small business, we are doing everything by ourselves, everything is going smooth. Why would I need AI? They don't even see the need. How do they know, or how do you help them integrate AI into their businesses?
Well, I think one of the ways you'll say is like, are you interested in buying back your time? Don't you want to spend time with your family? Things are not going to get easier. Costs are going up for everything. I mean, food costs. Let's say a restaurant, for example. Well, how can we utilize AI? Well, maybe instead of the person up front that's hosting, the hostess, she can help with other tasks. And that whole system would be AI, or it would help her streamline things so there's no mishaps. If somebody cancels something, it's okay. The table opens up, let someone else know right away. That's an AI agent in the back talking to let them know, or an AI automation. Streamlining processes, I think, buying back time. People might not like this, but it's reducing costs, labor, right? They're looking at some of the white collar jobs out there, accountants, financial analysts, especially the junior analysts. I don't know. Someone coming out of college or university right now is going to be looked at, because AI can just create those financial models now. And like I said earlier, it's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
it's those. What are we going to do with that many people? Well, they need to start learning, enhancing themselves to be better equipped for where we're heading. And the world is going to shift.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm kind of in between of that shift.
Yeah.
I have seen life without AI and how beautiful it was and how it is, where it is going. So even though I'm fully accepting this, I want to learn, I want to be with the flow, there is still some sort of hesitation or kind of morally, I don't feel right. Like, as you said, students coming out of university wouldn't have jobs. A very small example to give, and this is not AI, but just to give you an example, like when I used to work at Walmart, we were all cashiers, and that is a different era. And now, if you see, there are two cashiers standing, and everything is self checkout.
So true.
And I think in the future, even those two cashiers wouldn't be there. It would be self checkout, or there are baskets now that would scan your item automatically, and so much more where the technology is going. So when I go to a grocery store, I feel like these many jobs have been taken out. These many people would be standing here right now earning at least minimum wage, but it's been taken away. So I kind of also don't feel good about it, but I also have to be accepting it.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, nobody feels good about the progress, right? But we don't have a choice. That's the thing, right? The bigger tech companies are pushing it forward. So how do we can not, at least you've been accepting of it, because there's some that are not. And those are the people I worry about, because whether you're not going to like AI or not, it's here, right? What are we going to do now? So we have a choice. Do we sit on the sidelines, complain, whine, and be upset and angry? Or do we start just saying, you know what? We have to try this and implement it. And it's one of those things, because if we don't implement it, we're behind, because your competitors will do it. But if we do it and join in, well, we're a part of the acceleration of AI. So it's like, where's that stance, right? And I understand. I think there needs to be guidelines. I think there needs to be certain walls put up for AI, so it doesn't become bad. You need, because there's some scary things that you can do with AI, and we won't talk about it right now, but there is some very dangerous things that AI can do, and I think we need more guardrails up for that kind of stuff. You're looking at what you can do with our devices today. It's endless. I mean, the knowledge we have, knowledge itself is going to get cheaper, I think, if it hasn't already, because you would have to go to school to become, like I said, an accountant. That was knowledge. Now the AI can be your accountant. There's no emotions there. There's no coffee breaks. Your AI does not sleep, right? There's going to be that. Then there's going to be the content creation side of things. I don't know if you've heard of AI influencers now.
Oh, yeah.
Like this one little Michaela, I don't know how much she's earning, millions by just being an AI influencer. She's, has partnerships with Adidas and all of these companies. She's not a real person. It's people that have formed this avatar of sorts, and now brands are paying her.
And like you are a content creator.
Yes.
And like we know how much hard work goes behind it. Like if you had to create one reel, I would sometimes probably take hours to make it like so apt, thinking about the caption,
the hook,
thinking about the hook and the song that will go, the music that will go with it, so much more. And you see an AI sitting there and earning millions, and it's not even a real person. It just...
I know. I'm with you on that. It does. And then, sometimes the algorithm's pumping them up, not us. And I think even like, maybe it's because, again, it's so bizarre and out there. Like even us talking about this, someone's going to go watch her stuff and find her. So we've, again, given her, or whatever, the avatar, a view of sorts.
Yeah. So, like even people who are even older generation than me, that are not really accepting, who don't use smartphones as much to the level that we do, and they would be like, oh, AI is terrible. You should never even think of AI.
Yes.
You can just. So once I was listening to a conversation, people talking, and they were like, you just go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what they know about you, and you'll be surprised how much they know about you. And it is really not safe
Mm-hmm.
privacy wise. I've not done that because I myself am pumping so much information in there. I'm like, ChatGPT would know so much about me. I don't even want to go there in the
Right.
first place, right?
Well, I think if you cleared your chat history, it's not gonna know much, and delete all the archives and all that. I think there's going to be a level of ignorance and naivety from a certain group. If they maybe deleted their stuff, it's not going to know anything, right? But it does also have backlogs that it won't pull it up right away. But if the FBI or anyone needed to figure out something, they can retrieve records. But privacy in that terms, I would say, is like, don't put like your bank account information
Yeah,
and stuff,
definitely.
but also anything too personal anywhere, right? We're so exposed right now. We're so connected on social media and the World Wide Web, but we're so disconnected right now too, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because we're so immersed in these devices. So I always think it's like if we could get AI agents to take care of certain things, maybe we can go to the things we once enjoyed doing. Like if you like painting, well, maybe that painting that you are doing, you can now start selling somewhere on Etsy or wherever at a market. Now you're doing something you love. Your AI agents are taking care of the job that you just have to manage. Because I think what's going to happen is everyone's going to become a manager. They're going to manage their AI agents. Their agents are going to be the employees. And you're going to sit at your desk and they're going to tell you what they've done all night long while you were sleeping or whatnot.
Right. But while we were talking about social media, I think also like painting or following your hobby, good. I wish people did that.
Yes.
But most of the people doom scroll because you're just used to that kind of dopamine.
It's a hit, right?
Yeah.
And I've done it before where you just get caught up on a topic and you're like, wow, endlessly. You want to learn about podcasting, you type that in. Now, your algorithm will just give you everything that's perfect to what you have been looking for.
Yeah.
And now you won't stop scrolling, will you? No, you just keep
No.
absorbing. And then all of a sudden you're like, that's where imposter syndrome can sometimes come in. Well, wow, that guy's doing some incredible stuff, or that gal's doing some incredible stuff. What am I doing? Well, I think and then you don't do it or you stop.
Yeah.
I think it's just be comfortable within your own skin and know that you were placed on this earth for a reason, and then chase that purpose, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be millions of views. It's no, sometimes that's what we strive for and think if we don't have that, it's not success. Success is us talking today, me meeting your husband, having a real conversation about life and just where we come from. Why Canada's home? What is AI? How is it going to help the next generation? Your son, when he's 5 years old, when he is at an age to enter the workforce, what is it going to look like? Are we paving the path for them? Are we taking care of not just the generation here today, but the next generation? Equipping them with the knowledge and the tools and the expertise they're going to need, because being an accountant or being a junior financial analyzer, you're going to need them. But are the companies going to hire them? That's where I feel like there might be a disconnect. We say, oh, hey, Neha, Google it. Now we say, ask ChatGPT. What GPT say? Right? And it's so easy. So now we're relying on these large language models, like these GPT or OpenAI's system or Gemini of sorts. We're starting to rely on them, and they're giving us answers back based on what's already on the World Wide Web or what's the latest information, and they're just going to get better. And it's going to get really interesting to see how it all goes.
I know. But coming back to...
Can I drink this?
Yeah, definitely. Coming back to your business, was there any funding you put towards it, or No, because mostly it is
I think from a funny standpoint, I think it's mostly bootstrapped, right?
bootstrapped.
Yeah. Because by the time you learn something in AI, you're and perfect yourself in it, you're 10 weeks behind. It is moving so fast. I mean, I don't know if you've been playing with ChatGPT and like there's how many models there are. Now we're on model 5 and ChatGPT 5, and then there's the agent mode, there's the research mode, and that's just on the pro plans, right? So and that's one platform. And then just playing on with ChatGPT. Now what do you do with all that knowledge? How are we going to implement it? And it's really cool. I mean, there's things like vibe coding. That's fun that people can play with. So you can create an app or a software of sorts in a day or so. There's a guy that created a recent AI platform to help. He's 25 years old, and he was trying to help legal assistants and lawyers with all of this jargon. And he was, or help with their AI or legal stuff. He ended up, I think it was like $975 million. Or sorry, $675 million. That was the number, $675 million in less than a year. And he's got, I don't know, maybe 5 to 8 employees. You never see these numbers before. And these are things that are happening within days, weeks, months. This is, it's moving fast. And I think there's a huge roadmap, a huge window where people can now, the world is your oyster. And, we were younger, but there's that .com bubble. And before that, I love history. That's why I think you've seen a lot of older photos. When I go to these places, you see who paved the path, who put the railways down, who were the folks that helped build these communities, right? And then you learn about their stories, and then you see today's time. Well, who are the people that are going to set this up for the next generation? I think we need more of them to come out there. But I think people are scared because of being called out. There's trolls out there. First mover advantage. People are afraid to do things because of how easy it is for, I don't know, John042 on social media to say you suck, right?
I know.
So then people just don't want to be a part of that. And I think we need more of those folks out there right now I was listening to this guy named Robert Greene. He's an author. And he said, we need less timid hares. We need more bold lions. And I think we need that right now.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, AI related, or you're doing poetry, or you're doing pottery even. It's okay. Get out there. Someone will love your work.
Yeah, totally. And I believe in that. But coming back to your business, where do you see it going down the road? 3 years, 5 years?
Well, the goal is definitely to be nationwide. We're positioning things to be nationwide. So sharing how we can work together and be the conductors of AI agents. So you'll have, say, metaphorically, an orchestra, and you're the conductor, you're the manager. Everyone will have that ability. And that's the goal, is to break down the barriers, the silos, and the red tape to say it's okay to be that person. And AI is streamlined for every person that feels comfortable, and it's easy for them to do, not overwhelming. And then the other thing is looking at AI in terms of, like you said, privacy. It's so easy to, as a podcaster, cloning, right? Voice clones.
Yeah.
It is scary. And it is voice clones, facial clones. Yes, you can tell it's AI in some cases, but not many.
Yeah.
Now they're getting really good. And like I said, tip of the iceberg. Imagine 5 years from today, what it's going to look like. We're not going to know. Denmark just recently went through with a law that you as an individual can copyright your own voice and your face. So no one can use it and clone your voice or face. And it's actually illegal. It's against the law. I think Canada needs to look at something like that. That's another thing. I think we're looking at AI sovereignty across Canada. The government has created a great platform for that. US has one. That means protecting data in Canada. But what about provincial data? So AI sovereignty within each province is important. So looking at ways how Alberta can create its own data centers so it can power this AI, because that's going to be another thing that we haven't really looked at is where is this energy going to come from? We've had blackouts and we have to borrow energy from the United States, Montana, or from the grids or from BC. How are we going to power AI? And I think we need to become our own strengths within our places of where we live. Each community, I think, needs to do that. And I think it's 5 years down the line. I think I hope we're there implementing those thoughts. Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. You should correct me. I feel like Alberta is already investing a lot into data centers.
They are.
And yeah.
So Alberta, but other provinces aren't.
Okay.
But Alberta is. However, what about data sovereignty? So yes, we have our national AI sovereignty and being protected from other countries. But what about the provinces protecting themselves as provinces? So certain things in each province doesn't go to another province, right? So how do we protect it? Yes, data centers is one element, one layer, but then there's information. So sometimes maybe there's private information that it should just stay in the Alberta government, not be at the federal level. So how do we silo those for Alberta to be protected, or British Columbia, or whatever province we're talking about? Yeah.
Right. So now we've already spoken so much, but I'll ask you a few questions for people who are not into AI too much, but how do we help them get into or learn more about it? Can you share some of the tools or apps? Mostly people are aware with the big names, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity. What are some of the other tools that you have used recently and you really loved them that people should use too?
Sure. I think for if you love creating ideas and you have an imagination, play around with Midjourney. It's great to prompt on there and come up with the wildest things you can imagine. It's fun. And
what is it used for, basically?
So photo creation, image creation, yeah. So you can make paintings, you can go back to the Renaissance era, you can go to the future, the Jetsons, comics, anything you want to do. And then take those photos and take it a step further and play around with things like Google VO3, which is video. So image to video or text to video. So you can prompt something and say, I would like to see blue waves. And I want to, I don't know, instead of a boat going through the waves, I want a plane floating through the waves. It could be anything, a car, whatever. Start playing around with things like that. It'll open up doors that you might not even think in this moment. You'll say, well, what is the point? Well, the pieces will start coming together. The dots will connect, right? Because if you don't even look at the stuff, you're just going to stop. And I think for businesses, we created something called the AI roadmap. So on the website, you actually have a resource section. So there's checklists, there's roadmaps that they can now utilize with ChatGPT or utilize with Claude or utilize with whatever platform they're using, Copilot, Microsoft, and use it as a trial. So it's going to say, hey, your business is XYZ. You're here today. Where do you want to be? Now, let's take it a step further. And this roadmap will guide you through things where it'll open up doors. And then, I always have a thing where it's a free 20-minute consultation to kind of say, are you seriously looking at integrating AI into your business? Or are you just more on the exploring side? So then we can see. And if it's exploring, there's workshops. There's a mastermind of sorts that we've been putting together, and it actually got filled up for this year. So 2026 will open up again, and we have about 5 to 8 people that we sit with, and we say, How do we look at the world today from a higher level to look down and say, how do we, our world, so Alberta or Calgary, and say, how do we now help individuals out in whatever they're doing? If it's a nonprofit, they're always looking for money. They're always looking for donors or donations. Well, instead of, doing all those things and the labor behind that, maybe that individual can now go help with marketing or other strengths they have. And then they can rely on the AI agents to help them reach out to these emails of sorts that they've been pending on. And they might be able to fine tune their pitches and presentations. When I talk about presentations and you asked about other tools, it's called Gamma, Gamma. It's incredible for presentations. We had to learn PowerPoint and all these things. Now Gamma can take your content and make it into a beautiful presentation. And then you can obviously fine tune it in whatever way you want. But it's ready.
Yeah.
And now you can practice on how you deliver it and fine tune your words, posture, tonality, all these different things. And it's really cool. The skills are going to change. The tools are just a way to help us out, but it's not the end all be all. We still need us humans. I think humans are just going to have to look at it from a different perspective.
Right. Apart from tools, what are some of the other, let's say, courses or workshops that, even people who just want to explore or understand AI better should do?
Well, I think Google's got a great beginner workshop that they can try. I did it just to see what it was about. I actually liked it. It's great to learn, but you're learning about Gemini.
Okay.
And again, Google Gemini is incredible too. But if you want to learn every other basic, I think you need to start, and you have to do it one step in and step at a time, right? Day by day.
Okay. But the courses, let's say the Google course that you mentioned, is it okay for beginners who have absolutely no tech background as well?
And I think that's the thing is it was great for somebody that has no tech background.
Okay.
Because it breaks down the words, the understandings of the things that we don't know. Like, what is an LLM, large language model? Okay, great. What does that mean?
Right.
Right. And they walk you through it to your level of understanding, and it's self-paced. So I think that could be one of the ways that we can help people is to start with the Google course is the one I would recommend.
Okay, so another question I have is, what industries AI is going to completely change, and what are the industries that AI won't affect so much?
So the ones that we'll start with, the ones that it won't affect for now, will be a lot of the blue collar jobs. So if you're an electrician, if you're a plumber, a crane operator, you're going to need humans to do that. And it's going to be interesting to see, are we going to see more of them? Are we going to see more of them coming through? But again, how many plumbers are we going to need? How many electricians? Right? So there's going to be this shift. Those jobs, the blue collar jobs, they're not going to go away anytime soon. There's, of course, we've seen like the robots and the AI robots come through, but I still think we're a few years away from that. But even then, humans still want to work with a human, I think, for the most part. On the back end of things, like AI agents can take care of it. Your digital workforce, the digital employees can take care of it. Jobs that are going to be taken and are already starting to be taken. I mean, we've seen editors, right, in all fronts. Video editing, audio editing, sound, right? We've seen that. We've seen it from the corporate side. You're not Harvey AI has been looking at replacing legal assistants with zero to no error. Before you used to have someone sitting next to you to do notes, minutes. That job's been taken by, even using Zoom, you can use Fathom, it's called. And, there's going to be tools like that are coming out there. I was at my vet the other day, And he usually would have had someone that was there writing my dog's symptoms down.
Mm-hmm.
He uses something called Covet now. It's an AI app that records it all, takes it and puts it in the exact slots where it's needed for my dog's paperwork. And it was done. And then he was able to see more patients, animals, and streamline the process. And at the same time, reduce the labor costs because things are going up. And it's going to be interesting. I was talking to a guest I had on the podcast. His name's Gilbert Bong. And he had told me about, people's, like, the money's going up, but the jobs are going down. So now how are we going to fill this gap? Because there are going to be so many people without a job. They're saying by 2027, 2028, 60% of the workforce is going to be out.
But I still feel like, especially let's say in Canada, government would want to put some guidelines around. How are you going to help all the people who are out of job?
Well, I think there's going to be a retraining needed. And that's where we're going to need more people coming out to do this. You're on social media, you'll see when I got into marketing many years ago, there was not many social media managers or social media content creators at the time. But now everybody's a social media manager. We're all content creators, everybody.
Yeah.
You're going to see that sooner or later with AI. Everyone's going to be an AI strategist or an AI consultant. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. But how do you help people without just being the fluff or the yes, we're here to help you with AI, but you're not actually doing anything. We needed to make it practical. We need to make it business related. I mean, maybe that's where I only look at first, because business drives a lot of things. I mean, we're in Calgary. It's the West. It's it's got an entrepreneurial spirit. Calgary is a place. Alberta is a place. When we look at the overall about how this is going to affect certain jobs, I think healthcare is going to be another one. You're going to look at the doctors, and doctors are using AI assistants with them now. That's another one, right? So, but you're going to still need a massage therapist. You're going to still need a physiotherapist. You're going to still need your chiropractor. There's a thing called Heidi Health or Heidi AI, and Heidi works with psychologists to help them put their notes into a documentation, similar to what I said about the Covet, right? Mm-hmm. Now that psychologists can see more people, help more people. And I think we're going to see a shift. It's going to be interesting. And there's so many layers of shifts that are going to happen. But I think the blue collar jobs, I think they're safe. I think the pendulum's going to swing where blue collar is going to be recognized as something that is worthwhile. Finally, there's a lot of hard work that goes into the backbone of what built Calgary, Alberta, and our country.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's why you should just try and be more open and educate yourself with AI to understand how it's going to help you, how it is going to change the world, and you have to be there. Right?
Yes.
But what are some of the precautions you can take, especially related to privacy, your own personal data, while using any AI tool?
Well, first and foremost, I would say, don't put your home address up. Don't put your bank information. Don't put your children's pictures up. Be careful. Be wary. And be mindful of what you're asking AI. Because, like I said, you can delete the chat, but sometimes it's still logged. Be careful. And use it for good. Use it for things that will make your household better. Start there. How do I clean this hardwood better? For example, I spilled coffee. How do I clean my carpet? Ask AI. You would ask Google, ask AI. Start there. Just start playing around, but be careful of how you share your information.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
especially look, if you have a business idea and it's confidential, or if you have your clients' work, don't put that into AI.
Yeah. Okay. Before moving forward to your podcast side of things, is there any last word you want to say about AI to people?
Mm-hmm.
Any advice?
All I'll say is start today, start now, do 30 minutes a day. Just start, because if you want to be equipped for today and tomorrow, you're going to need to know some of these tools. Even if you don't end up using them at work, it will become a part of things we do on a daily basis. I mean, if you're afraid of AI, guess what? You've been using it already with Google Maps.
Yeah.
So it's been around. Just peel back some of the layers and be gentle with yourself, and just try it. It'll be okay.
So you have a podcast channel as well, the Canadian podcast.
Yes.
How did that start? When did that start?
Oh, wow. So that started during the pandemic, 2021, January. I had stopped drinking in November the year prior, November 21st, 2020. I said enough was enough. And I just needed to stop. So I went cold turkey. And this November, of course, it'll be 5 years. And it's, I needed it because I was using it for not the right reasons anymore. Not socially. It was just to suppress things and pain. And I had to work on myself and go through the things that, we have this metaphorical chest we have to open and go through gently and work through the things. And sometimes I didn't do it so gently, but I recommend anyone that is struggling to get professional help or seek the help. And for myself, when I stopped drinking and there's the pandemic, I'm at home alone. I have a dog, but I needed to talk to people. So I started with Calgarians and people that were willing to share life with me. And it was never just about, well, this is what I've done, this is how great I am, and how much money I have, and this is what I have. It was who you are as an individual, because I think life is never a hockey stick up, right? It's the ups and downs, the peaks and the valleys. And I think you can learn something from them and then realize, like we talked earlier about imposter syndrome, someone's talking about it. You realize, I'm not alone. And it became contagious to learn from people. And it was healing for me. And yes, it's been, I don't know how many episodes now we're at, but there's moments where I have to take a break from podcasting for sanity and just life. But it's fun. Isn't it? Like, don't you enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. Especially when I get to meet people and share stories and learn so much about them. Yeah. But what idea of having a podcast is different, and actually doing it is totally different.
Yes.
Like, you wouldn't think that there is so much that goes behind it. So how was that for you? Or what did you think that, I did not think about it, or I did not think that it would be so much work? How was that for you?
Look, I loved editing video, like for my own hobbies or for clients at first, from the content creation media side of the world I'd been in. So I thought, okay, it won't be that difficult. But when you get into 2-3 hour podcasts, it's the clip. It's a lot. Adobe Premiere. When you look at all the clipping you do, you think, oh my goodness. Or you think you're almost done, and then you realize there's this
so much
more because you're zoomed in on the
on
the track. Audio, perfecting lighting. I'm still working on that. Can't figure it out sometimes.
Yeah.
And then positioning. That's another thing. There's so much to it. And then scheduling with people, right? That's another. Are you sure you can make it? Can you?
Yeah.
Finding the right questions. There's a lot to it. And then obviously planning the content. Not the release of the podcast, but just shorts, reels, captions, hooks. There's layers upon layers on how to build a podcast, and then being consistent with it. Because there's so many times where I had in the beginning been like, I love this, but what am I really doing? And if you're thinking you're going to make money from podcasting, I would say look for something else too. Because it's a lot goes into it. It's not cheap.
Yeah. And that's the thing, also people would give me so many ideas. Like, yeah, you should make reels. I'm like, I'm hardly just able to put an episode out.
Yeah.
Forget about like making reels.
Yes.
And sometimes the answer. I know if I make reels and if I post, it's gonna get me so many more views and traction, and I'm gonna grow faster because short form content is the way to go. But it's just you can't find time.
No.
Especially you're not doing this full time when you're not doing this full time. Like you have your 9 to 5, you do this, you have a family, you have to live your life as well. Like this is not my life.
No.
My life is the time I spend with my family, the memories I'm making. When the weather is good, I want to be out there.
Yeah.
I want to do that as well. So, it's just.
So, what makes you want to do this? What do you get fulfillment from when you do this?
As I said, I think I'm still able to do it. Like despite having a 9 to 5, a family, a child, everything, I'm still able to manage at least shooting and putting one episode out. That means I have time. And if I didn't do this, I would still be cleaning my house. Just doing those 4 things or doom scrolling.
Yes.
And still say I'm so busy, I don't have time. So if you're able to do this, and that means you have time.
Yeah.
You're just wasting your time somewhere else.
That's the
First thing. Second, obviously the learning part of it. I get to learn so much, especially when I meet people in person. I'm building a network. I'm learning so many new stories and amazing people and their businesses in Calgary, which although I've lived here for a decade, I don't know these people exist. These businesses exist. I had another brown fellow doing a podcast. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, you'll get to learn so many new things.
And it's nice because the community is so big and there's so many cool people that you would just walk by and have no idea.
Exactly.
And it's nice to just take that minute to say, hey, I'm real. You're real. Let's talk about life.
Yeah.
Right?
You should tell me why you keep doing this. Because, also so many people, they say this amazing things. Like motivation, it just comes and goes.
Yeah.
You're motivated some days, and most of the days you'll be like, I'm just dragging myself to do this now. I would rather just enjoy my Sunday and sit and watch TV. But you choose to do this instead. What keeps you going?
I think it's the stories of people. It's this. It makes you feel like you're not alone in something, and there's a comfort within a community. And it's nice to one day meet them in person after you've spoken with them and say, "Hey, we're real. We're 3D."
Yeah.
And people you would have never thought, you would meet, and they've all got something beautiful and special about them, don't they?
Yeah.
And when you see someone share something about themselves, it's actually really beautiful because we don't do it enough anymore. And that story of that certain person only stays within their circle. And you might have heard their name or their business, but you don't know who they are, like how they move, how they communicate from a human perspective, not from, I'm talking to shareholders or I'm talking at a board meeting. I'm just talking as me, without the titles, without the badges, just yourself. There's something freeing and liberating about that. And then I think there's something healing about people. We need connection. And I think through doom scrolling, through quotes and motivation comes and goes, it dies. You need something more than motivation. And I think as a friend once told me, you need to find your why. You need to find your purpose. It's deeper than just motivation, right? Obviously, there's discipline, consistency, all those things. But why are you doing this? What is it for you? And I think it's for me personally, it's the healing. And in that, we all get to learn from each other, and a story is told again.
Yeah.
As a kid, I used to love sitting around on the floor with a teacher reading us a book. Storytelling was so fun for me, and I think going back to that is it's a dream come true. that we're able to do this, aren't we?
When you were talking, I feel like where your podcasting came from is the part of healing and, actually knowing the people, not the things they've achieved
No.
and all the glory, the real human being. But I feel that is amazing. But as an immigrant, I always, my motivation of starting a podcast was after they have come from you, they come to me. Like, when you've healed, or especially as an immigrant, you have left your life, your family, your everything behind, and you've moved here to do something bigger,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe to earn money, maybe to have a
Mm-hmm.
better life, maybe your own goals to achieve
Mm-hmm.
them. And this is, I wanted to provide a motivation. See, these are the regular human beings, and they were able to achieve. So you
Mm-hmm.
should be able to do that as well. It's not that difficult,
No.
because I have seen in my circle and so many people who are amazing. They want to start a business or they have a great skill, but something is holding them back. Like, oh,
What is
maybe
it? Is it shame? Is it fear of failure?
fear of failure, or maybe this is just too much, or maybe I wouldn't be able to do that.
Mm.
Or these are people who have so much money. They are able to achieve all
Yeah.
this. It's not regular people. So
No.
so much fluff, so much misconceptions
It's
that
100% misconception. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. It's a mindset shift.
exactly, and that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
share. Like, these are amazing people, but they are just ordinary. And the most surprising part is, like, I've had guests who have done TED Talks
Yes.
or who have had their businesses who are earning
Mm-hmm.
in like seven figures or
Yes.
whatever. But they're such humble human beings. They're so nice.
Because you know what? They know it can all be gone in a second. And they were there when it wasn't there. Right. So if you're a nice person then, you're just a nice person as you get bigger. Right.
Yeah.
And in whatever realm you're doing, bigger doesn't mean money. It can just mean life, right?
Yeah.
Growing day by day. I'm feeling I'm not doing this bad habit. Now I'm doing this habit, good habit, right? So just finding your way. And I think for me, it took so long to figure out my path. But I think life humbles you. And the people that are loud usually are the ones that they don't have much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Insecurity shouts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? When you're not happy with yourself, you'll go on, I don't know, let's say X or whatever, and yell at people. Tell me, are those people really happy? No, right?
No.
Why do you need to do that? Just find peace. What is so bad about your life that, and if there is something tough that you're not, that's when it's go do the work, take care of things, because it's projection. We are a mirror. And there have been moments where I wasn't happy with myself, and then I could feel it. I'm like, oh, I'm being a certain way. Now I'm self-aware that I know, well, why am I getting annoyed easily? Well, Zach, you slept 4 hours last night. It's not that person's fault. It's you.
You're right.
Right? So you just have to remember things and go back to the roots of things. You talked about being an immigrant, coming here, seeing this, and creating hope for others to know things are possible.
Yeah.
I think it's so important because there are people before me or anybody, you, that paved the path so we had a better life, right?
Yeah.
Like when my mom and dad came here, again, mom was a seamstress, dad's a waiter. How are they able to do that for my sister and I? I can't imagine. And, hats off to you and your husband and so many others that come here from a different country and call this place home. Learn the culture, adapt to the values of Canadian culture, and then also to create a podcast like this to give back.
Yeah.
And say, hey, there's hope here. There's a beautiful life. Yeah, I just don't know how you guys did it because it's a whole cultural shock, isn't it?
Yeah. And, throughout your life, you will always be having both your feet on two boats. because you're always comparing. You're always thinking, maybe I should have gone back. Maybe life would have been better there. The struggles of being there and being here, there are struggles everywhere. There are goods and there are bads of being where you were born. There are struggles and good part of being here. But you're just a human. You're always going to feel,
Totally.
when you're here, you are going to remember the good part about
Yeah.
where your life was.
Well, it's like grass is always greener on the other side. Right?
Exactly.
And it's like people on social media right now. If you're in some relationships, I see the husband and wife are at home, happy, everything's good, but she starts realizing her random people that she's following on social media are always traveling and doing this and living this happy life. But they don't realize that person is taking 30, 40 pictures just to get that perfect picture, but not enjoying the present moment, you know?
Yeah.
They look at trade-offs, count your blessings. There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your favorite guest on your podcast? Or who is your dream guest that you're looking forward to?
Oh, dream guest. I think there's more guests that I would say I would have wanted to have on that are no longer here with us.
Oh.
And one, of course, would be Terry Fox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's Terry Fox. There's Alberta's late premier, that Ralph Klein. He was our mayor for many years, and then he became our premier. He was an environment minister. He was a man of so many different vibes in one. And, he had something called common sense that he implemented that I think we're not seeing often anymore. So I hope we'll have that soon.
Right. Yeah. Common sense is so underrated. Common sense is so uncommon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially today. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some of the struggles with podcasts that people don't realize? Or what is the hard part of this podcast?
I absolutely think it's the editing. It's the editing, and it's also sometimes, I think when I first started podcasting, you're asking these questions back and forth and wanting this answer that you think you need to get. You're like, come on, this is not what I signed up for. You got to give me that answer. But I think it's when you realize no expectations, that's that person's vibe. It's okay. And sometimes I think people have shields. I do sometimes too. It's easier to be the host than the guest, right? It's nerve-wracking. And I think there's this thing is, how do we make people feel comfortable? Because you're on TV and you see these journalists and people put a mic in people's faces and say, so what did you mean by that? Is that, you become hostile, or you make people hostile and guarded. How do we find ways to put people's shoulders down that you're safe? It's okay. It's not live, so it's going to be comfortable. And you're not here to put people in a bad light. Sometimes news does that to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's, how do you lift someone up? How do you make it lighter for them to share their story? Because you're talking to somebody about their life. This is years and years of things that have been bottled up sometimes. So you have to be gentle with them. So I think one is being patient, finding humility, and being gentle with your guests.
Mm-hmm. But also, you've just got one shot.
That's the thing.
Just one episode.
Well, Neha, you can call me back if you need another one. We can do another one if you need.
For sure. But just saying, you actually want that answer so the audience could learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this happens in real life.
Well, it was like when we were talking earlier, and he said, Zach, can you explain from this angle?
Mm-hmm.
And it's great because you also know your audience, and you also know what they would want.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, right? So then we do it again, and it's fine. Yeah. And I like that because it's about opening up the dialogue. But if they don't understand, then this conversation doesn't mean anything to anybody, right?
Exactly.
And it's similar to, going back to AI for a second, if we only talk in technical terms with businesses and use all this jargon of sorts, they're going to be confused. But if you can say, hey, we can help you with a certain task in their level of understanding, well, guess what? We'll hopefully have business, and they will be able to get the tasks that they need done. So it's just talk to people at their level of understanding.
Yeah, I think it comes with time when you know your audience and what your purpose is. What are you trying to achieve from the episode? Like, who should benefit? Is it only this level of audience? People who don't know AI, even they should. What are they going to get from this? What are experts going to get from this? Sort of catering to a wider audience.
And it's tough because when you have to do both languages, right? If you're speaking to an expert, there's a different conversation. If you're speaking to a beginner, there's a different conversation, whether it's podcasting, AI, or anything, right?
And I am no expert. So if I understand, I feel like, okay, even a beginner is going to understand this.
Well, there's this phrase in marketing, they call it KISS. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. Because we all need to understand at a level of something. I don't know. I don't like the stupid part. That word, that's what they've called it. But I don't like it. But what I'm saying is, if you keep it simple, it opens the doors to so many things, doesn't it? Now conversations start. Yeah.
And there is no shame. I feel like as a human, you cannot know everything.
No.
Period.
Leave it to the AI agents.
Yes. But like when we are having a conversation, I can't just be like, yeah, I know that. No, I don't know. And why is there a need for me to know? Like, I do nothing with what work you are doing. If I come and ask you, do you know how do I cook Indian curries and all?
No.
There is no way you should know that, maybe.
But if I asked you, Neha, what spices should I use in this? You'll say, hey, is that tried this way?
Yeah.
Because you'll say, my mom used to use this, or my grandma used to use this.
Exactly.
And I'm saying, my butter chicken is just not, it doesn't have this, kick to it. What do I do? Well, add this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, there's no shame in saying, I don't know.
Tandoor, right?
Yeah. So if people online or on media are going to say, oh, I don't know, can you explain what this is? It makes people feel comfortable. Oh, she said she doesn't know this. And maybe I can say that too. There was this incident when I recently started working in the Canadian workspace. And we went out, it was my farewell. So we went out for a lunch. And there were all Canadians there, who are born and raised here. And I was an immigrant there. So obviously I would have been embarrassed to ask anything. Like, I don't know this, especially because I was new. But there was these two people who were having conversation. And one mentioned that I'm a pescatarian. And the other one was like, what is pescatarian? I don't know. Then he was like, okay, I just eat fish, or I don't eat fish, and that is called pescatarian. He was like, oh. And then he also acknowledged, oh, it's nice that you asked that you don't know what pescatarian is. He's like, yeah, I don't know what this new word is, so I asked. And that just stayed with me. And they both appreciating that she asking that question instead of going, okay, yeah, whatever that is. And not asking that question she would have missed an opportunity to learn something new. Yes. So I purposely ask questions when I don't know. I don't think like I'm going to look stupid. I'm just going to think I have to learn this. If I ask this question today, it is going to stay with me and I'll never have to ask this question again. I will learn something new.
Well, if we don't ask, we're going to Google it anyways.
Exactly.
Right? Just ask and learn from the source.
Yeah, and sometimes people share stories and you get to learn maybe one extra new thing or get to learn something more about the person.
Yeah. Like if you ask me, hey, Zach, we want to go see a really cool old town. What's a good one that's nearby Calgary, around where we live? I'll say, okay, look here. Right? If you didn't ask me, then you're going to have to Google it. You're going to have to look around. Where do I start?
Yeah, and maybe you'll share a story. I used to go there as a child, or we went there from my school field trip, that. And I'll know one extra thing about Zach now.
Exactly.
So that's the whole point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, but you mentioned that podcasting is difficult to monetize. If you are thinking anything about money, find something else. what still keeps you motivated to, because there is
Yeah.
money involved in this.
Absolutely. There's a lot of money you got to put into it. And I
Put
don't
into
mean
it.
just purchasing the mics and the lights and all this stuff. It's the softwares. It's your time. Time is something we don't get back,
Yeah.
right? We have one life
Yeah.
and it's ticking. So why do these conversations matter? I think it's preserving today's time where we're at. It's also learning so I can be a better human being from others. Like maybe I might learn something that I've never thought about before. How do I navigate something in life? And it's not always about business or something. It's like, how do I get out of this dark time I'm in? What did you do? Right? And you say, hey, Zach, when my husband and I moved to Canada, we felt this way at first about being alone or something, but we were able to do this. And I think, I can use that in my own world and whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
There's so many incredible Canadian veterans. And it's so nice to hear their voices and them share parts of their life that often we'd never hear about. They did so much sacrifice for Canada. And when you speak with them, I never went to war. I don't have the bravery they have, men and women. But I can apply something that they did for a survival tactic or something in their life, and then maybe look at it in a way of business or in life of sorts. A friend of mine taught me the box breathing method. So when you feel anxious, you count to 4, hold it, count to 4, release, and go back and forth. And it's helped me in situations I would have never known. Maybe I would have found out down the line somewhere, but it helped me. And, you start layering those kind of tools from others. I think it's a beautiful thing to have. Yeah.
Right.
And those are things that are priceless.
Yeah.
Right? That's the stuff you can't put money on.
Yeah,
Life,
totally.
yeah.
How do you feel about podcasting if somebody wants to start now? Is it like too crowded? Is there still space?
There's a lot of space. And I say is find something you enjoy about it. Because during the pandemic, you saw, I don't know how many, hundreds, thousands of podcasts come out. People got to 3 to 4 episodes and then they called it quits, right? I think they finally realized it's not just, hey, let's talk about life or talk about the sports games. And then it is, you got to find something deeper. Why are you doing this? And I hope it's not for money because it's really, really hard. I mean, we see Joe Rogan with the Spotify deals or that, I think her name's, I don't remember her name, but the show's called Call Her Daddy or Call It Daddy. So, they're able to hit this kind of revenue of sorts that we've never heard of, but they think everyone can get there. It's a different ball game. And I think find your niche, because in that niche, you'll find joy. So, I see a Lilo and Stitch on sticker right there on your water bottle. Have a podcast about that. There's podcasts about Smurfs. There's podcasts about Jurassic Park. There's a guy I know that did a podcast about a show. It's a Letterman show, Dave Letterman. But he talks to the people that were behind it, the cameraman, the operations guy, because he grew up watching the show and he loves it. He's not doing it for the money, but he's fulfilling something within him. And when someone does that, we all benefit. We all learn. Right?
Yeah. These are some of the deeper things people are trying to fulfill with their podcast. I feel like.
Yeah.
If monetization isn't the only thing. Some people who think of this as monetizing, maybe it's not.
It's so true,
but yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. Also about monetizing, I was trying to think what I was going to say. Stats say that only top 1% of the people are able to achieve all of that glam that you see, that numbers, those sort of guess how much ever revenue they are trying to get to it. but the bulk of it is down there, who are trying to be that 1%, who, they started thinking that, oh, I am going to be there as well, but are only part of that 98% of the people who are trying. So it is not unachievable, or
I don't think anything's
yeah.
nothing's
But
unachievable.
if you have that sort of passion that drives you,
Mhm.
and if you're ready to do this day after day without seeing results for a decade, and maybe one reel of your shoots up, then maybe you'll get there. But that amount of, you need real passion to do this for a decade without seeing results.
Or you might not ever get there.
Yeah.
Do it for something bigger than that
Yeah.
revenue or that 1% you want to get into. I don't even look there.
Yeah.
Because for me, this matters. The presence, with the stories that you're meeting with the person. Sure, we all want to grow the show because that just means more impact, right? More reach of a conversation. But you start now. Just start if that's something you want to do. And no, it's not just going to happen overnight. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. You have quite a following on Instagram. Do you know how much you have?
Not lately, no. But it comes and goes, depending on the content I'm putting out. And I think it's happened over time, but I've been doing it since 2014.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it though? Even like last time I checked, maybe somewhere around 20 or 50,000 people that are following you on Instagram. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's nerve-wracking at times because you don't know everyone's intentions. I'm very private, and I don't know. I like keeping family off camera. I like all those kind of things. My personal life, because we're living in a time where it's so exposed. Everything's just out there. I like to share things I enjoy doing, hobbies and experiences of history. I share a side of me. But we have so many sides to us. When people say, "Hey, I know this person," well, do you really know me, or do you just know a few ways of somebody? You don't know what people are going through, what they think about, what they are busy with in their life.
Right. So do you have any particular goal with your podcast, or you're trying to achieve something with your podcast?
No, absolutely not. I think meet more folks like yourself and continue meeting people that are doing incredible things. And then sometimes, people have fallen in life, and how did they pick themselves up? I think that story is incredible, the rise and fall of life. Because, like I said earlier, it's not a hockey stick. We all have those peaks and valleys. And how do we get out of it? Because somebody else can learn something from that.
Definitely. With mental, you shared that it started from your own need or your own when you were in a dark place. Can you share something about mental?
Sure. So it started in 2023 with a group of people from all across Canada. Some I hadn't even met at the time. But, they encouraged me when I said, "Hey, I have this idea." They said, "We'll do it." I said, again, it goes back to imposter syndrome. Am I healed enough? Am I okay to do this? Can I do this year after year? And they said, "We're here with you. You got this." And, when you have people that have your back, even though one person, you feel like you can do things. And for me, it almost felt like, okay, I'm opening myself up to the world. And at the same time, the world gave me a hug. And in that, others came out and said, "Hey, I struggled," or "I wasn't feeling okay." And Mental, which is June's Men's Mental Health Month, we get people to share a tool, a tip, or a quote of sorts that they do to get themselves out of a dark place, because we're human. And mental.ca is a thing, so it's play on the word mental health. And we realize in Canada, 11 people die every day of suicide. That's according to the Canadian Mental Health Association of Canada. 3 out of 4 men or 3 out of 4 suicides in Canada are men. So that's 75%.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? How do we break barriers? There's great organizations out there. We're not a charity. We're not an organization. We just want to solely stay a platform for June, Men's Mental Health Month. That's why we have the domain name mensmentalhealthmonth.ca. So in Canada, when you think June, you think Mental. And then you think our partners and collaborators with us that are working together to end the stigma. Because I think guys struggle to speak about what's going on in their minds. And then, it leads to substance abuse like alcohol or drugs. And then obviously affects their friends, family, work, their life ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we make life better for people?
Right. As a man yourself, why do you think it's difficult for men to speak?
I think there's shame. I think there's shame of not being the strong one. To say, I'm struggling and I need to get help. There have been historically phrases like man up, be a man, why won't you?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't help somebody. Like, you're the man, you should go do that. It's like, I understand there's in certain elements like blue collar or blue jobs and pink jobs, they call it, or whatever you want to, there's a phrase of that. But I think there's this thing where guys get taken down because they're thinking they're supposed to be this patriarch, like, or a leader and an alpha male. But alpha doesn't always mean not taking care of yourself. And you can be physically fit. You can have all the money in the bank. But if this is not right, that's not things right,
Right. So you were also sharing how your platform has seen more people join in year after year.
Yeah.
Can you share some stats?
Sure. So the first year, 2023, when we started, we had about, I think, around 23,000, give or take. 2024, we had about 57,000 men. This year, we had 428,000 people part of this. 68% of the 400 whatever were men. So it was incredible to see the growth. But again, it was, growth of building better partnerships. This year, we were in the newsletter of the Canadian Mental Health Association. So they were pushing our content out with their audience. So that helps. It's like, how do we get this word out? A grassroots movement where we don't want to sell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
We're not giving you advice because none of us are professionals in this realm. And I always say, again, goes back to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. It is possible. If you think, if you were struggling and now I want to do something, well, who am I? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. You can start.
Mm-hmm.
And you can encourage other people to go get the help with professional help of psychologists and therapists. You don't have to be the person. Start where you're at, and sometimes we think, well, I don't have this, so I can't do this.
Right.
And look at the impact a group of people did together. But again, it starts with the people that helped you become a better person, to stand on your own 2 feet, to say, even if you fall, we're here to catch you. And I was like, okay, I got this.
So this is like a community
That's been
trying to help each other.
Yes, men. And a lot of women have been a part of the community to obviously help men be better. Because again, whatever you want to say about each, I'm not going to go in that topics of things because you'll never win right now. Because we're so divisive in life, right? But it's like, I always say this is, we all live in this one planet. We all need each other, men and women.
Mm-hmm.
We all need to work together. So let's help each other, whatever it is. Let's find ways. There's a phone number. The government of Canada has 988. It's a suicide hotline.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a crisis, you can call it. They're open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But if someone's going through a hard time and they want to go through whatever they're going through, what I believe at least is they're not going to just pick up this phone number and call 988. It doesn't just happen like that.
Yeah.
But if we can make it comfortable for them to say, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Or here's this option. And if it's brought up more frequently, I think it'll be easier. Same with talking about AI openly, without putting these fearful anecdotes out there where you think, or antics that you think are like, oh, AI is going to ruin everything. Start gently.
Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting is when we talk about AI, I'll have to send you something. I've created a mascot of a maple leaf.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guy in a maple leaf, and we call them chip, like a microchip or a chip of sorts, computer chip. And we want him to be the mascot of AI for Canada.
Okay.
To teach kids in school. Like, we have, remember Microsoft, the paperclip?
Mm-hmm.
Or, so something like that, but for AI.
Right.
So in Canada, we want to try and see if we can implement stuff to soften it and bring AI literacy to the masses. Yeah.
Okay. But when you said like women are part of this group as well, and I feel like it totally makes sense because sometimes when you see a man struggling and you're seeing it, you as a woman can step in totally and make it comfortable, make them comfortable with the idea of taking a professional help, or just let them know that it's okay, or you can seek help, there's nothing fine, and how it would just make them understand when they are not comfortable talking about it with somebody outside like their other friends or anyone. But you as a family, when you know a man, maybe your child, your husband, your father, someone suffering, you can step in and maybe just gently guide them in that direction.
Absolutely. And like, we always say is look at things like buddy checks or bro check. I could say like, hey, brother, or hey, depending on how you say it, right? So I always say, hey, bro, or hey, brother. And I call that a bro check. And basically it's like, let's reach out to people. And this was through a friend of mine. His name's Mo. And I said, he always did this thing called buddy check at the beginning of every month. He reaches out to people. How are you doing? You don't have to say much, but just to know that someone's in your corner. And it's so nice. So, we encourage people to push that out and talk to somebody. Reach out. Hi, how's it going? But it's nice because, like I said, 60% of the 400 and something thousand were men, but the rest were women that were engaging, that were sharing. Because, hey, they have a brother they might have lost into suicide, or they have somebody in their household, husband, boyfriend, that might be struggling with mental health issues, addiction, alcoholism, drugs, anything. It's seeing other guys talk about it and them witnessing it. It builds community, and I think it opens up conversation. Something that also, this is very taboo, right? It's stigmatized. And I think we talked earlier about in our own cultures.
Yeah, talking about culture, do you also see men from some cultures taking help or being more open to this idea and not so much from different cultures?
Well, I think, some cultures have it unfortunately different, where there is that stigma, and unfortunately they suffer in silence. And it doesn't help the community. The West is open, predominantly compared to, when we look in certain in like areas like India. And I hope, we're only human. Doesn't matter where we are from. We have good days, we have bad days. And everyone should know that it's okay to not be okay. But it's not okay to stay there alone. So get the help, get the professional help.
What would be the ratio of somebody from Asia or India versus Western culture? Because I feel numbers don't lie. If you have numbers in front of you, and if you see there are so many people getting help from Western cultures, but not so much from Asian countries, it gives you a picture.
I haven't looked at the Asian countries in terms of the numbers, because I only look in Canada of the numbers and where I live. So I don't know the numbers of Asia. But I do know is like if you looked at the Mantel page, you'll see is, how many Indians are on there, how many Asians. Well, why not more?
Okay.
Because there's a stigma.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with us having the conversations to know it's not weak.
Right.
It's actually a strength. I'm not saying go out there and obviously, share
Yeah.
everything about that online. I think you should get the professional help or speak to people that you trust in your circle. Find people. And if you don't have a circle, knock on doors. There are people out there that will listen to you.
Yeah, you know how they say sometimes it's easier to take a bullet for someone, but it's more difficult to live and do things. So
Yeah.
similarly, sometimes taking help might be difficult,
Yes.
but it is totally worth it for your loved ones, your family. I'm going to put all the website and
Thank you.
description,
Yes.
everything down below in the description. So if anyone wants to check out, is there any last word you want to leave the audience with? What do you want to, a message that you would
Sure.
want to give?
My mom always told me something, and she said all her life growing up before she passed was try and make at least one person smile a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now more than ever, we're living in a time where we're so caught up on our digital devices. Look up,
Mm-hmm.
smile at someone. If you're in an elevator, don't just go on your phone right away to avoid eye contact. Look at the person, be human in a time where things are going to evolve. And this is coming from a guy that's in AI.
Right.
Stay human and don't lose yourself, into these devices of doom scrolling in life. And try to make that person smile a day. You never know how far a smile goes.
Totally.
It's contagious, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. I totally agree with you. So yeah, I hope everyone takes this advice and
Yes.
follows it. As you rightly mentioned, we all need it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it makes your day, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, but it was wonderful having you.
Thank you so
It
much
was
for this.
amazing. The entire conversation
Yes.
about AI, mental, and life in general.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. And I'm sure we could have continued on for hours, right?
I
There's
know,
so
totally.
much, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, and if you've liked this video so far, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I will also share Zach's Instagram page. Go say hi to him. He's a wonderful guy. If you want to chat about AI or men's mental health, you can always chat with him.
See you guys.